All right. I just got off the first video. Now I'm getting back onto the second video. No time for sleep. Okay. If you didn't hear in the first video, I'm going to be dropping something special probably by the end of this week or probably early next week. It's a different type of video, so just stay tuned for that. Anyways, stop making excuses. It hurts yourself more than it hurts others. When someone asks you, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And you make an excuse because this person said that or because this person said that, you're not hurting the person that you tell the excuse to, you're hurting yourself, right? That's how excuses work. The word excuse itself is an avoidant word, right? Excuses almost give you, almost create like a sense of like entitlement in your mind, like you are not the person in the wrong here, right? And I get it. There are times when your excuse is valid, and this person really didn't do that, and then someone just walked, you just walked in on me, and you're assuming I did it when it was the other person, right? It doesn't matter. It's still an excuse. If you plan properly enough, if you plan well enough, then you should be able to foresee a lot of things and see things before they happen and put yourself out of a remove yourself from a certain situation, or just, if you can't remove yourself from a certain situation, you can probably stop something bad from happening before it happens if you were just a little bit more insightful, right? I'm not asking you to grow a third eye, but this is kind of like a sixth sense, right? In a sense, right? But when you make an excuse, you excuse yourself in a lot of in a lot of settings, in a lot of instances, right? Excuses don't allow for room to grow, and excuses kind of just harbors that laziness inside of you. And like I said, I get it. There are times when your excuse is legitimate and it's really, really valid, right? But the idea behind to stop making excuses is that you want to become the type of person that accepts responsibility. Becoming the type of person that accepts responsibility really elevates you to be the best person that you can, because you don't allow anybody to tarnish your, like your reputation or your name. As soon as someone says you did something, you accept it whether you didn't or not, and then you recognize the little instances where you could have done better, right? Maybe you're living with your roommate and your roommate's like, oh, you didn't do the dishes or something, right? And it wasn't your turn to do the dishes, it was, their turn to do the dishes or whatever, right? You could say it was your turn to do the dishes, blase blase, right? But that in and of itself is an excuse. Actually, maybe it's not. That was a bad example, right? But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, if you have a responsibility, a shared responsibility with someone else, and they don't take up that responsibility, right? It's still your responsibility to finish and accomplish and take that responsibility up, even if someone neglects their responsibility that they know about, right? It's still an excuse if you use that person as the excuse for why you didn't do your part. And if it's something where you guys fairly share the responsibility, right? It's still an excuse if you use an excuse. You should know the type of people who you deal with, right? And you should know, hey, this type of person, blase, blase. Just this is how this person reacts. If you don't know that that's how this person reacts, and you never met this person, and you're sharing a responsibility, then you should always assume that you've got to do this 100% by yourself, right? In team projects where you have, at school where you're working with two people, you're working with a partner or whatever, and you don't know much about your partner, you got to assume that your partner is pretty much brain dead and you're going to do the whole project. Unless that person proves otherwise, right? Or unless you already have a rapport with that person and you know their work ethic or whatever, you have to be in a mindset and a mentality where you're prepared for the worst and where you're prepared to do everything by yourself, right? And then you just got to pray that that isn't the case, right? But being prepared, setting yourself in that mindset really eliminates any unexpected wrong turns or anything that blows up in the last minute. It really eliminates that, right? When you put yourself in a mindset of no excuses, right? Everything is my fault and I'm accountable for everything, right? The idea isn't that you want to blame yourself. The idea is that you want to prepare yourself for whatever happens. And when you prepare yourself for these kind of things, you can grow. The big thing about excuses is it doesn't allow for you to grow. When you make an excuse, right, the same thing can happen again because you didn't accept the responsibility. When you accept responsibility, you can grow from that point on. When you accept that that person didn't help you, right? And you were responsible for your when you accept that that person didn't help you with the assignment, blase, right? And you're getting and everything now is depending on you, then you know next time don't work with this person or next time know that this person is gonna do shit. Right. So you either tell your professor or whatever, this person didn't do shit or document it or whatever, right? But if you keep on making an excuse every single time over and over, nothing's gonna change. You gotta ask yourself deep inside whether you want to keep up with bullshit or whether you want to change, grow, and become a different person, right? So stop making excuses. Everything, in a sense, is your fault, right? Accept it, don't feel bad about it because you're in your own body. You're the only person that can control yourself. You can't control the outside environment, right? But you can control yourself and you can control your mind. Once you learn to control your mind and control yourself, then you stop making excuses and you become more accountable. Accountability and responsibility go hand in hand, right? Once you know how to be more accountable and more responsible, then automatically you don't make excuses because you just adjust and you just prepare. Okay? Needless to say, maybe this video is running too long. I should really find a run timer so I know how long my videos run. But I think this is about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, so I'm gonna drop this and I'll see you guys later tomorrow. If you enjoy content like this, subscribe, like, comment. Let me know what you want to see next or what you want me to talk about next. Stay tuned for that secret video that I'm gonna be dropping soon. Yeah, it's your boy. If you enjoyed this, peace.